Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream. I hope that you are all doing well. It is the last discussion stream of the year. I can't believe it's already the end of the year, but welcome to the live stream, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. So tonight we are going to be discussing a couple of interesting topics that I haven't really covered. One of them being Fallout 76. Over the past couple of weeks, Fallout 76 has been having a lot of problems with hackers. I really want to discuss that situation as I haven't yet. We're going to be discussing The Witcher 3, of course. The TV show finally released last week, and it has gotten a great response. And due to that, The Witcher 3 is actually breaking records because of it. I'm also going to be discussing Google Stadia. I've discussed it quite a few times at this point and how much of a failure it is. But of course, we have to make fun of it just a little bit more because of how awful it has turned out to be. And also, I want to discuss games coming out in 2020 that I'm excited for. And just kind of go down the list. Of course, there are a lot of games that we know about that don't have dates yet, or we know that they're coming out next year. But I figured we could talk about ones that are very anticipated and that I'm excited for. Something a little bit more positive, because I am looking forward to a lot of games in 2020. I definitely think that, of course, it's going to be a good year because we have new systems coming out, but I also think that just the lineup for games is looking really fantastic. But before we get into those topics, hello everyone that is in stream. I hope you're all doing well. I thought the days of hearing about Fallout 76 were far behind me. I honestly wasn't going to talk about Fallout 76 anymore. When this situation first arose, I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. It's just like one hacker using a cheat. Like, it happens in so many games. It's really not that big of a situation. And slowly but surely, day after day, there was more news with it. And for like a week now, the situation has been going on, and Bethesda only just responded to it. So I thought that we could have a good laugh. It's the end of the year, last discussion stream. We have to make a good laugh
Stadia
out of it.
will prevail. Laugh now, you will see. Beep boop beep.
Thank you for the $5 donation, Frank. I very much so appreciate it. Will the Stadia prevail, though? There's some pretty bad news in regards to this Stadia as well, to be honest. Stadia just... Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I thought it sounded neat at first. I did. I was very skeptical, but I didn't think that it sounded awful. But as time has gone on, and we've actually seen what the Stadia has to offer, and really what they wanted the Stadia to be, and what it is now, seems very odd to me. Donation fail? What do you mean donation fail? It popped up on screen, didn't it? It popped up on screen. At least I'm pretty sure that it did. Did it not? It's Google. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, yeah, after all of their failed projects, you sort of have this, like, this expectation. I saw the dono? Yeah, I saw the dono too. I mean, I think Frank just wants me to play the donation again. I think that he just wants everyone to think that he's given me $10. I personally think Stadia is a failure. I personally think the Stadia is a failure as well. Especially with how it's been going. Expect Google to toss a lot of money in it before pulling the plug? Yes. Alright. We are going to get into the first discussion of the night, which is Bethesda. Now, over the past couple of weeks, well, not over the past couple of weeks, but over the past about week and a half, there's been a lot going on with Fallout 76. Nothing that's good, unfortunately. If you are a fan of Fallout 76, maybe tune out for about 10 minutes so you don't get upset. But Fallout 76, from the beginning, I think we all know at this point, has not been the best. Even though Bethesda is playing it off as they had this great year, like 2019 was a great year for them, Fallout 76 was amazing, unfortunately, it really hasn't been that amazing. But Bethesda patches Fallout 76 cheat after hacker uses it to steal players' items. First, it started off with the game was just completely broken. You completely couldn't play the game. And it wasn't because of hackers, it wasn't because of cheats, the game was just broken. Should have shoved it into a pile of trash and called it done. No. Bethesda just had to keep it going. They pretended like they were doing great things with the game when realistically all they cared about was profit. They cared about, of course, adding in systems to make you pay money. Of course, we had microtransactions, and now we are at the point where it took Bethesda almost 2 weeks to patch a cheat after a hacker used it to steal players' items. Last weekend, someone managed to steal items from hundreds of players in Fallout 76 using a new hack. While Bethesda patched the worst parts of the exploit, some of the affected players are still waiting to hear if the company will be able to restore their lost loot. So as it says, a video posted Sunday night was of a user lifting items from random unsuspecting players. The string of robberies happened rapidly, one right after the other, with the victims appearing naked afterwards, their clothes and armor gone. The pickpocketing spree was the result of a newly released hack over on a specific website created by a forum user that allows players to steal items from anyone close enough in the game to appear on screen. Fallout 76, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the person told Kotaku in an email that their gear, including a full set of power armor, 3-starred legendary modded scout armors, and their sheep squash mascot head, loot that was both powerful and took a long time to earn. This is the problem. So, of course, people hacking a game and people using a cheat to steal from players' inventories and steal their items is a problem. That's a problem in itself. But what's even more of a problem is that they're taking items from them that they not only can earn in-game, but they have also taken items from them that are cash shop items that are supposed to be bound items that no one's supposed to be able to access, and they're taking them from players. Items that you spend hard-earned money on. Bethesda, ladies and gentlemen. It took them 2 weeks to patch this, by the way, for this whole situation to go away. The game's subreddit was quickly filling up with warnings to players about the hack and calls for Bethesda to bring the game offline until a fix was implemented. The company did just that Monday evening, taking the game down for maintenance for an hour before pushing out a fix that blocked the hack. Of course, Bethesda spokespeople completely acted like it wasn't a big problem. Everything was perfectly fine. At first, they tried to deny the fact that it was happening. They tried to say, well, we're looking into it, but there's just not enough reports right now to believe that it's true, which was bullshit in of itself. A company should never tell people, well, you might be the one odd person experiencing it. And of course, they say that because they don't want people to overreact. They don't want people to act like this is some huge problem. They would rather tell people you're one of the few people that it's happened to, when in reality, this was a big, widespread problem. Continuing on, it says, we would like to apologize to those of you who were impacted by this exploit, a Bethesda spokesperson said on Reddit. We want to make this right, and we are currently looking into ways we may be able to compensate you. I think any player that bought Fallout 76 at this point should be compensated. They should just say, if you bought this bullshit game, we'll compensate you. Not just if you got your items stolen. Some players who have had their items stolen are still waiting to hear what that compensation will look like. Of course, they listed off a lot of their items that they lost. And then, of course, they said, Bethesda didn't even respond to my ticket, so I don't know what to say. Now, of course, the inventory hack has been fixed. Those people can't use that hack anymore to steal players' items. But unfortunately, a lot of people haven't even gotten their items back. Say the hacker took these items from you, a lot of people haven't even gotten them back, never mind compensation. I do think that it's good that Bethesda's saying they will compensate people at some point, and that yes, we are looking into, ways to prevent this from happening in the future, but also ways to compensate people that unfortunately have gone through this terrible thing. Of course, that's what they always say. But they haven't even fixed the situation at hand, and there are still people that haven't gotten their original items, their base items back, which is a really big problem. Obviously, Bethesda has not responded to a request for comment. It's still not clear what vulnerabilities in the game made the cheats possible, or why they were only discovered over a year after the game was released. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm sure it's not hard. Fallout 76, how can I put this nicely? Fallout 76 is a buggy piece of bullshit. Bethesda, don't put me on your PR for 76. Honestly, I just think that since the beginning, Fallout 76 has had so many problems, and most of the times they've been Bethesda's fault. It's not like it's an outside source doing it. This is really kind of like the first or second time that we've seen a cheat kind of break the game. But the problem here is the fact that it took them 2 weeks to really even respond to the situation, and 2 weeks to even say they've acknowledged the situation publicly. They tried to act as though it wasn't a big problem, and maybe if this was happening to you, you were one of the few people that this happened to. And unfortunately, I just think that they didn't take it seriously, which is a big problem. I think that when you are a AAA developer, a huge company like Bethesda is, people that have purchased from you deserve the right to know that their product is broken, or that there is this really big problem going on in game. They could have said, we are going to take the servers down as soon as they found out about it, let me tell you. They should have said, the second they found out about it, we are taking the servers down until we can fix this situation. We think that even though this may upset people, if you are a dedicated player to the game, all 5 of them, may I add, we want to do this for your safety, because we do not know what these cheats and what these hacks really are, how they happened, and how these people are using them in games. So we feel as though it was it's a good choice to take the servers down, but they didn't do that. They took them down as soon as they figured out how they could fix the hack and how they could fix the problem. But there was that big gap where they didn't, and they just didn't act like they cared. They were telling people, you're one of the few people that it's happening to, and they really didn't take the situation seriously. It's apparently fixed for now. There are people that still do not have their original items. I hope Bethesda does, of course, restore those items for people, because it takes hours and also money to get these items. But I also hope that Bethesda does give these people some sort of compensation. With Bethesda's track record with 76, they'll probably give you 200 of the, atoms for the store currency and say see you later, which is what they usually do. They don't really act like they care when it comes to anything about 76. But I do think that even though this wasn't their fault, the cheats weren't their fault, the hackers doing this wasn't their fault, I really do think that Bethesda needs to be careful with what they're doing and what they're saying. They need to take situations like this seriously, because going into 2020, new generation of consoles, we will be seeing a lot of releases from them. We're supposed to see the next Elder Scrolls eventually here. We're supposed to see, what is that game called? Starfield. I just think that Bethesda needs to take these situations a bit more seriously, even if they're not big situations. There are people that are watching what Bethesda's doing and going, well, when their games start to come out, there are new games that they actually care about. These people are going to look back at everything that they've said and everything that they've done and kind of laugh at them and go, why would I pay $60 or buy a special collector's edition of your game when you couldn't even take a situation with a hacker seriously? But that's all we know for right now with Bethesda and Fallout 76. It's patched apparently. Do I believe it? Not particularly. When it comes to Bethesda and 76, there's so many problems. Who really knows, unfortunately. All I can say is I hope that this doesn't happen again. I don't play Fallout 76. I did not purchase it. I'm not an active player of it. If any of you in chat are active players of it, I would be really curious to know your thoughts on this, but I just don't think that base of players is really there anymore. I feel like a lot of people just fell off the boat with it because it turned out to be so awful, in a lot of sense. But Todd Howard says it just works. I know. Todd Howard, how the mighty have fallen. The mighty have fallen. Bethesda doing something good for the players? Nice joke. It does sound like a joke in a sense because of how Bethesda's acted in the past year or two. But I do think that it is important, and people are looking at them, and they are judging them now because so much has happened with these games, and I think that it's very important that they kind of get their shit together for the next generation. They have a lot of projects they're working on, and I do think that they really need to take situations like this a bit more seriously, and really, they should be worried about what players look at them as. They don't want a bad reputation, so they should honestly just act a little bit better. More as if they're a AAA company. Remember Morrowind? Sighs, yeah. I honestly don't think I own a single Bethesda game. I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of good Bethesda games. That would actually kind of surprise me if you didn't own at least like one. Like none of the Elder Scrolls. Like you don't own like Fallout or Dishonored or anything like that. That's a little bit surprising because I feel like so many people used to really like Bethesda and kind of what Bethesda was and how they acted. I mean, Todd the God Howard didn't get his nickname for nothing. But like I said, how the mighty have fallen, unfortunately. Hello 007, I hope your night is going well. Wait, is the Wolf Among Us Bethesda? I had a nightmare a couple of weeks ago where the Elder Scrolls 6 was online, like Fallout 76. Daryl, I swear, if you just jinxed us all to hell, you're getting banned. You better be careful. Fallout New Vegas was the last good Fallout. Fight me. I mean, I think Fallout New Vegas was very good. I mean, The Outer Worlds was a great Fallout game. It was a great Fallout game. I mean, that's practically what The Outer Worlds was Fallout. Fallout with slightly different textures and weapons. I used to like Bethesda, but after Skyrim and Fallout 4, I'm indifferent to them anymore. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I personally like games like Skyrim, even though if you pick up the base game and you don't mod it or anything, it's completely broken and it has a lot of issues. But once you kind of mod it and you really customize it to be something a little bit better, I do think that it's a good game. It's just unfortunate that they released it the way that they released it. I mean, Fallout 76 as well. They released it in such a poor state, and of course, there was no modders to be able to really fix it. But yeah, that's all I had to really discuss with Bethesda and Fallout 76. Now that the whole situation's over with it, I felt as though it was a good time to talk about it. Hopefully, nothing else happens with it. Skyrim mods make it so much better. For me, that's kind of the thing, is like, yes, if you were looking at something like Skyrim without mods, or you are looking at it without that substance, that extra substance that Bethesda didn't give you, then yes, it's pretty bad. It has a lot of good aspects to it, but the overall painted picture isn't good. But when you add in things like mods and all these alterations and where you can use so many that you really like, it flourishes, it turns into this great game. It really blossoms. Thank you to the modders of the world that have blessed us with their creations. I do very much so appreciate you. It's not paid mods, it's mini DLCs. Oh, please. Guys, we can't come up with new names for, like, microtransactions because Bethesda will take them from us. Bethesda will. Mods suck, they destroy the game. I don't agree with that. I think that mods can definitely help a game. I think that mods, maybe a lot of people don't like using mods, which I completely understand. I used to be pretty against mods, honestly. I was never a fan of modding games. I used to just like to look at the game from what it was and what was offered to you if you picked it up off of a shelf. But, you know, modding. It's legit. I own no Bethesda properties. Interesting. Guys, we have to buy Drew Fallout 76. Confirmed. How much is it? $3? Maybe $5? Rage was a great game, but Rage 2 is trash. I really liked Rage. Rage 1, the original Rage, it was really good. Unfortunately, they didn't follow it up with a lot of success. 50 cents brand new. Guys, we all need to chip in. 2 cents each. I got a new name for microtransactions, war crimes. Damn. Alright, the next topic of discussion is The Witcher. I just yesterday, if you guys have not seen it, put up my kind of thoughts in a general review of The Witcher Season 1 that launched on Netflix last week. If you have not seen that video, you of course can go and watch it, but my general thoughts on The Witcher as the TV show was, it was really good. It does have flaws, but overall I thought that it really did the books and of course the games justice. And because it was a Netflix original and because it's got so much of a fan base behind it, it has really blown up. Right now, it is like the #1 in-demand show this week. It surpassed The Mandalorian by a ton, apparently. Of course, The Mandalorian did just come to its finale. 8 episode seasons. What the hell? It's too short. But The Witcher TV show has brought a lot of attention back to The Witcher. Mainly The Witcher 3. I really want to know how many copies of the games they've sold, but more people are playing The Witcher 3 right now than launch day in 2015. I think everyone, or mainly everyone that is in chat, has heard about The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 was, when it came out, it was amazing. I mean, it's still an amazing game. It's some people's favorite game. But it says that the key to success is to have both a TV show and a deep sale, which is very true. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt presently has more concurrent players on Steam than it had on launch day in 2015, breaking its own record of 92,000 by several thousand players. At the time of this report, which was yesterday, there was more than 94,000 people that were playing the game according to SteamDB, Steam Charts, and Valve's own statistics. That puts it ahead of well-established free games like Path of Exile, Warframe, and TFT2. Further, the 2 previous games in the series are both in the top 100 games by player count on Steam, with The Witcher Enhanced Edition at 12,100 and The Witcher 2 at 6,600. I felt as though those numbers were switched in a previous report. They might be right, but I'm pretty sure they were switched. Anyway, The Witcher 1, a game that definitely didn't go well at time of launch. These figures are for Steam only and don't count players from other distribution platforms like The Witcher developer CD Projekt Red's own GOG. Most highly anticipated games never again reach their launch day by concurrent player counts, especially single-player ones. So this number is particularly impressive for an RPG. The remarkable success follows last week when The Witcher 3 surpassed Red Dead Redemption 2 in concurrent players. And of course, it does say the burst of interest in The Witcher is likely due to a combination of the new Netflix series, based on the same books, and the current sale discount on the game, the lowest it has ever been, at $11.99 for the base game or $14.99 for the game and all of its expansions. Those two factors, amplified by the holiday break in Europe and in the United States, have made for impressive numbers for the nearly 5-year-old game. I think that this is amazing. I think, of course, we only have these Steam numbers and really what's on Steam, but I would love to know how many copies of the game have sold on consoles. Imagine the PlayStation, the Xbox. Imagine how many copies of this game have sold on GOG itself. Of course, we're just talking about Steam here, but I would really love to know, the developer, the Witcher developer, CD Projekt Red's own GOG, Good Old Games. I would love to know the numbers of that. I doubt that they'll release, how many copies have sold within maybe the past week of, the game, the TV show launching, but that would be amazing to see. I love The Witcher. I thought that, of course, like I said at the beginning, the TV show was really good. It definitely had its flaws, but it's so great to see that a TV show has really, added more life into the games and the series. Of course, we have just heard, maybe a week ago or so, that the author of the Witcher books did make a deal again with CD Projekt Red, which hopefully means more games in the future. I mean, The Witcher 3 is, of course, a couple of years old at this point, but this is great to hear. I think that this is amazing. We very rarely hear about games kind of jumping up in popularity past what launch day was. So that's really great to hear. I do also think that it's interesting that that everyone is so... Let me rephrase that. I think that it's so interesting to see how high of a jump it has also been because it was Netflix. I, of course, don't think we've really heard a game selling amazingly from another TV show. Let's say The Mandalorian. I don't think that sold any copies of any games because there was no Mandalorian based game. Of course, Star Wars games in general may have had an uptick in sales, and maybe even in players, but because the TV show was a Netflix original, I think that was huge. And also, again, like this mentions, the fact that it's on sale. For $15, you can get this game, you can get The Witcher 3 with all of its DLC. I think that is an amazing price. And they also added on... GOG added on a package yesterday, I believe it was, that was all of the Witcher games for, I believe it was $30 or $26 to $30, which if you have not played any of the Witcher games, I think that is a great deal. I, of course, would purchase these games on GOG because, of course, CD Projekt Red is Witcher's developer, but also because DRM free is amazing. But yeah, this is great to hear for fans of The Witcher. I thought the show was great. I thought it was really good. Netflix has 150 million subscribers. Disney Plus has 15 million. But it's still the fact that it's not just the subscriber base, but it's also word of mouth. I think that the Witcher TV series, because it has so many fans of the books and the games, that it had such a huge word of mouth. And of course, when we're talking about Star Wars, that's also huge too, because Star Wars is a huge franchise and, we're right around the movies launching and whatnot. But I think that it's a combined factor of the game being on sale, the good TV show launching, and also just how popular The Witcher is. I said this in my video review, but I was worried about The Witcher TV show. I personally was worried that Netflix didn't have a lot of hope in it, mainly because they didn't really promote it a lot. There were, of course, some ads a couple of days before on platforms like YouTube and whatnot, and on websites and whatnot, but there really wasn't a lot of advertisement. So I was a little bit worried that maybe they thought it was going to fall flat, that it wasn't going to be good. Maybe they just didn't have a lot of hope in it. But so far, it's been really great for them, and it's great to see a game kind of rekindle after a TV show like this. I think that it's great. CD Projekt Red is a pretty great company. Of course, all companies have their flaws, and every company does have their problems, but I do think that CD Projekt Red did amazing with the games. Yes, maybe The Witcher 1 wasn't the best game. Of course, when The Witcher 1 came out, it definitely wasn't as to the scale as like The Witcher 3 was. I've played The Witcher 1. I thought The Witcher 1 wasn't bad. It was very frustrating. But I thought The Witcher 1 had a little bit of charm to it. The story of it was really good. I didn't mind it. I actually kind of liked the combat. My problem with The Witcher 1 was that it just wasn't polished enough. You could tell that, like, you could really see its age. Which, of course, games that come out now, you know, in 10 years, we probably won't be able to see their age compared to, like, now from a game 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But you could definitely tell its age. But it was really good. I liked The Witcher 1. All of the Witcher games were honestly really good. I've really enjoyed specific aspects about all of them. Yeah, I have The Witcher 2 and 3 behind me as well. I own The Witcher 3 on... I do have a physical copy of it, and also The Witcher 2. The Witcher 1, I don't have a physical copy of. The Witcher 1, I was actually looking the other day, casually at, like, The Witcher 1 on, like, eBay and whatnot, like, resellers. You can buy a copy of The Witcher 1, like, the dev kit, like, the sealed, never opened, like, dev press kit for The Witcher 1 for, like, $500. Whew. If I had just casually $500 laying around, I would definitely get it. It's The Witcher 1, though. We're not talking about, like, The Witcher 3, which is this occult game. We're talking about The Witcher 1, but it was really interesting to see that people still had them sealed and, like, didn't open them. It's not really super hard from how far I got. It just seems really, really long. The Witcher 1 is a pretty long game. How long is it technically? Witcher 1 gameplay length? Story length? The Witcher 1 is about 40 hours, depending on how many side quests you do. But if you do all of the side quests in The Witcher 1, it's about 60 hours. Of course, The Witcher 2 is like 100 hours, and then The Witcher 3 is like 200 plus hours if you do every hunt and every side quest available. It's an insane length. Wait until we see the progression into The Witcher 4. Like, The Witcher 1's like 50 hours, Witcher 2's like 100 hours, Witcher 3's like 200 hours. Wait until we get to the next Witcher game where it's like 500 hours. At least you're getting your $60 value, that's for sure. I'd buy more posters with $500. Honestly, like a press kit, a sealed press kit, that sounds awesome. Laughs in 240 hours in The Witcher 3. Yeah. 200 hours? Wow, yeah. Witcher 3 length. If you are doing all of the side quests, yeah, if you're doing all of the side quests, all of the side hunts, you're really exploring, yeah, it's like 200-ish hours. There's an article from 2018 that says what someone who spent 1,800 hours in The Witcher 3 did the whole time. I'm not spending 1,800 hours in The Witcher 3. No thank you. I've spent a lot of hours in the game, but not 1,800 hours. No thank you. But that was just something a little bit more positive that I wanted to discuss. I don't know how many of you in chat have watched The Witcher. If you have, or if you have not, feel free to check out my previous review on it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Can't wait for season 2 in 2 years when it finally comes out. Disappointed. Yeah, that's what I was doing, plus all the DLCs, right. You have to consider DLCs too, you know. The base game's probably like 100 hours, but when you add in DLC and whatnot, it can really chunk it up. Alright, the next topic, 1,000 plus hours, I have one guess. The next topic is Borderlands 3 and Google Stadia. I promised myself I wouldn't talk about the Stadia again. But I lied to you all. I lied. One of the last videos I did talking about the Stadia, I'm like, this is probably the last time I'll talk about it, unless it completely falls down a rabbit hole. Unless it completely just blows up. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Borderlands 3 comes to Stadia, but it's a 2-month-old version. This is what they're doing. They promised you brand new games. They promised like brand new games every week or something at first, starting in 2020. A new game a week or something like that. That would be pretty easy to do when they're adding in 2-month-old versions of games that don't have to be updated. Borderlands 3 is out on Stadia today. This is a couple of days old, but there's just one problem. There's just one problem. It's an older version of the game, which doesn't include the latest update. As we all know, updates for games are super important. Most games have day one updates at this point because there's small things that they're tweaking, small things that they're adding. Of course, latest updates are huge because you have things like developers fixing bugs, fixing glitches. And when you have a 2-month-old version of a game that doesn't have those recent updates and patches, who really knows what problems you're going to run into? Also, what is so hard to add in? Why is it so hard to add in an update? Just questionable. At launch, the Stadia version of the game will reflect all updates and fixes that were released through October 24th, Google said in a press release today. Of course, a couple of days ago. October 24th marked the release of Borderlands 3's third patch, which, among other changes to the game, added in its Halloween-themed Bloody Harvest event. The game has received a number of hotfixes and additional patches since then, including ones that add entire new modes. So you are getting a dumbed-down version of this damn game. Most notably, the version of Borderlands 3 releasing on Stadia today is missing the takedown level and level 4 mayhem endgame activities added last month. That content update also fixed some annoying bugs, like one that was causing the game's menus to feel extra sluggish, and added dedicated loot pools for bosses to making getting certain legendary guns easier. Google says these features, as well as the game's upcoming first campaign expansion, are expected to launch on Stadia in early 2020. Of course, first quarter of the year is early 2020. That's probably what they mean, or even the beginning of the second quarter of the year. It's not clear if, when those features arrive, Stadia's Borderlands 3 will remain up to date with the console and PC versions of the game or continue to lag behind. That is a huge problem. You have them not giving you the updated versions of the game. And yes, I think that it might be difficult for them to constantly keep it updated, but that's bullshit. They're playing the Stadia off. They have marketed this thing as the future of games. This thing is going to change your life. Sell your consoles now. Why would you play a game? Why would you even want to purchase a $60 game that is 2 months behind another version that you could have? I do think that it would be good if they could add in the events, like the Halloween event and, previous events that offer special items. I do think that would be good if they could add that in. But I think that it is bad that they are holding back big updates, like big content updates and bug fixes. That's the big problem here. Is it's not even that it's 2 months behind, it's the fact that it is a version of the game that has problems and has known problems. And you are telling people you have to buy a $60 version of a game just to have it broken and buggy. And I think that's bad. Now, I have not been optimistic about Stadia. I think that you all know that at this point. I think the Stadia from the beginning has been a big problem. I think that they marketed it in a very specific way. They've got very cocky. And that's my big problem with it, because if they had came into the market and said, this is like the first time we're getting into like the gaming market, like we really want this to be good, but we really want to impress you with quality, and they took it from a more wholehearted stance, I would be more okay with it. If they said, you know what, it might have problems, but we're gonna do our damn best, I would have been okay with it. But they came into it in such a specific way, like, this is the future of gaming, you're never gonna need a console again, like, they went too cocky, which is my problem. I hope that none of you own a Stadia. I mean, if you do and it's great, let me know. I'm very curious to know if you like your Stadia. But if you have a Stadia, please don't purchase Borderlands 3. I usually do not advocate for don't buy a game. I usually don't tell people don't buy games because you might want it. But I do not think that people should be giving them $60 for a 2-month-old version of a game. Spend your money elsewhere and spend it on something good. If you own a Stadia, buy a different game. Wait until it's caught up. We do not even know if it will be caught up, though, because it could lag behind those 2 or 3 months. Yes, they may end up fixing it and they may catch up, but they haven't really talked about it yet, which is also bullshit. They should be transparent with people that they're trying to sell their products to, which they haven't done. But that's all I really had to discuss with the Stadia. I don't want to linger on it too much just because I've talked about the Stadia so many times. I don't think a lot of my audience owns a Stadia. I think we all kind of laughed it off. But if you own a Stadia, please don't buy Borderlands 3, at least until it is caught up and it is a current version of the game. That's all I would hope for you guys. Is that so bad to say? That I care about what you're buying? Alright. I agree with some reviewers, this has set cloud gaming back a few years. Yeah. Stay on console. Heck, Stadia. They suck. They will never catch up. Maybe they will catch up, though. If they caught up and it didn't have problems, I wouldn't criticize it so much, but it's got so many problems. I'm on PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. Fair enough. I do own both of the major consoles. I own a PlayStation 4 Pro and an Xbox One X. But as you guys know, I'm a big PC gamer. I also own a Switch. I own a lot of everything. Okay? But I do need to upgrade my PC. It needs RAM and a graphics card. Hashtag feel free to become a Patreon for $1 a month. I love being a shill. EA, hire me. I'll shill for you so good. Okay. 2020, my friends. I cannot believe that it is already 2020 nearly. We are 2 days away. Tomorrow night I will be doing a New Year's live stream. If you guys are curious on stopping by, we'll be playing some video games. Not sure what yet. But 2020 is nearly here. So I thought we could discuss some games coming out in 2020. I'm not going to go through them all, but there are some games that are very hyped up, people are very excited about, most anticipated games coming out in the new year that I thought we could talk about because I have a lot of games I'm excited for, a lot of games I plan to live stream when they release, and I'm curious to know in chat, what are your most anticipated releases for the new year? So a lot of them do not have dates yet. We know that they're coming out sometime in 2020, but we do have a couple that we do, of course, mostly like the first quarter of the year. We do know when they're releasing. So to start out, we have Yakuza, Like a Dragon, PlayStation 4, Dragon Ball Z. I'm not as interested in those. Now, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, FE Encore, I have discussed quite a few times. This is a game that originally came out on the Wii U, and unfortunately there were 2 different versions of it. On the Wii U, there was, like the United States version, the North American version was censored. It had a lot of censorship, but the Japanese version of the game actually did not have any censorship. It was uncensored for the most part, But unfortunately, this version that is coming to the Switch is a port of the Wii U game, but all versions, Japanese, North American, they are all going to be the censored version of the game. When I heard this was coming out, I got really excited. I thought, this is finally my chance to play the game, because I had played it originally, but it wasn't really my thing. I wasn't really that into it, but I really wanted to replay it when I heard about it. But unfortunately, the version that is coming out is a fully censored version of it, so I will not be picking it up. It is like a dance music game. How do you describe Tokyo Mirage? How do you describe it? What is it? What is Tokyo Mew Mew? What? Google, can you not? It is a, let me see what its definition is. It is a competitive role-playing video game. It combines gameplay, narrative, and aesthetic elements. Megami Tensei and Nintendo's Fire Emblem series. So, if you're interested in it, unfortunately, it is the censored version, so I will not be picking that up. Mega Man Zero Legacy Collection, I will most likely pick that up for my Nintendo Switch, so I most likely will not live stream it, but I probably will pick that up. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, hot take, not very excited for it. I don't know. I'm just not very excited for it for some reason. Just my opinion, though. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire is finally coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I will most likely pick it up for the version that's better. It's probably going to have a better patch on the Xbox One, so most likely that. But going into February, we have The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance Tactics. I am not very excited for it either. This was like a game that a lot of people were excited for originally. I'm not that excited for it, to be honest. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I cannot wait. Ori was great. The first Ori was really good. I am very excited for Will of the Wisps. I don't know if I'm going to live stream it yet. Of course, if you guys want to see that, please let me know. I'm a huge Metroidvania whore. But I really liked one. Yakuza 5, I'm not going to pick it up, actually. I am going to hold off. I am going to wait. Yakuza's been a series for me that I enjoy, but it's not a series that I want to pay $60 for. I would rather wait to pay $20, $30 for it. So, hot take, probably won't pick it up for a very long time. Now, we are getting into March, which is March, April, and May. Very, very highly anticipated months. Final Fantasy VII Remake is March 3rd. I'm sure a lot of you guys in chat are very excited for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I am as well. But there's a but with this. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up. Now, my reasoning is because this is kind of a part 1. It will most likely be another 2 years until we see part 2. So, because it's not a full game, obviously it's really long, they've added a lot onto it, but because it's like part 1, I'm considering waiting. I'm not going to get it at launch. I may wait a little bit for it to either go down in price or to just see how people really like it. Watch a little bit of gameplay. I will pick it up eventually, but I just don't think it's a game that I'm going to pick up at launch, even though I am fairly excited for it. I do think that it looks really good and it looks interesting. I love Final Fantasy, but I think I'm going to hold off on it just for a little while. I may change my mind, but who knows. Nioh 2, another highly anticipated game. I, again, will not pick it up most likely until a couple weeks after launch. I'm someone, in case you guys can't tell, I live stream a lot, and I live stream a lot of new games for you guys. So I try to mainly pick up games that I can live stream. If I'm buying a game that I can't live stream like day one, I usually just wait. Because, of course, running the channel, buying $60 video games frequently gets very expensive. So, of course, that's where, like, Patreon supporters come in, and, of course, donations. All of that goes right back into the channel. I buy $60 games all the time to play, and I have, like, Xbox, Game Pass and stuff. So it does get fairly expensive. So usually if it's a game that I want to play in my off time, I will wait until it goes down in price, usually like $30, and then I will pick it up. Unless it's something I cannot wait for. Animal Crossing's New Horizons. I'm not too intrigued by it. I do think that it looks cool, but I think that I would get a lot of enjoyment from watching other people play it and really gauge their reactions to it. I would be excited for a Final Fantasy VII game if it was a full complete game. 2 parts is nuts. It's actually not 2 parts. They've said it's at least 3 parts. At least. So who really knows how many years it's going to take for them to finish kind of the game. Like the overall picture. So it's going to be a couple of years until Final Fantasy is done. Final Fantasy VII is done, so that's why I'm a little bit skeptical. I do think that it's great that it's like gonna be like a full-fledged game, like part 1, like game 1, but I think that their marketing is a little bit misleading because it says Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're not marketing it as part 1, so I do think that that is very misleading. Doom Eternal! Oh, praise the Lord. I was so sad when they held this game back last month. I am so excited for Doom Eternal. Hell yes! Definitely going to be purchasing Doom Eternal on day 1. I will most likely purchase it for Stadia. If I owned a Stadia now. I am most likely going to purchase it for PC, and I most likely will be live streaming it here. I will be live streaming it here. Come on, you guys. You know. Doom Eternal, launch day, you better be here, because I will be streaming it. Bleeding Edge, not too excited for it. Journey to the Savage Planet, meh. Persona 5 Royale, I'm gonna hold back. Gonna see what it's really about. Persona, it's a really hit and miss for me. Sometimes I really like playing them. Sometimes I'm just not as into Persona games. I feel like that's a game series that I have to be in the mood to play. I'll be too busy playing it to watch you stream it. No. You will be here watching me stream it. And you'll be playing it at the same time. April is definitely the month, though. April is the month. First, we're starting with Resident Evil 3, Nemesis. Why does it say it's PlayStation 4 only? It's not PlayStation 4 only, is it? It's not PlayStation 4 only. It's on PC. Game Informer. Stop lying to me. Aren't you guys going out of business yet? Oh man, whoops. Ooh, Game Informer, stop lying to me. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, day 1. Day 1 purchase for me. It's gonna be an expensive couple of months. Doom Eternal, day 1. A week and a half later, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Very excited for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I think that is probably going to be my game of the year. In 2019, Resident Evil 2's remake was probably my game of the year. It was like one of my top 3 games of the year. Really loved it. Thought it was amazing. Thought it could have had a couple extra added details, but overall, really amazing game. So Resident Evil 3 is definitely a day 1 purchase. Cyberpunk 2077, probably one of the most anticipated games for 2020. How was it 2019? 2020, probably one of the most hyped up games. I am very excited for Cyberpunk 2077. I am very interested in it and very intrigued in it. But I do think I will wait a little bit to purchase it. Now, I'm not sure. That is a game that I will probably leave up to you guys to let me know if you really want me to play it or if you don't, because I'm going to have, Doom Eternal, then Resident Evil 3, and then Cyberpunk coming out all at the same time. But it is a game that I am looking forward to, and that's because of this picture right here. Keanu Reeves is definitely why I'm so excited for it. I've had my eye on it. We'll have to see how it turns out, though. I'm a little worried, but I'm also very excited. Predator Hunting Grounds, okay. Trials of Mana, probably, again, another game I will purchase on the Switch at some point. Not at launch, though. I have all of the Mana games that have come out on the Switch and the PlayStation 4 at this point. There's like 3 that they've made at this point. There was the collection. There was there was Collection of Mana. There was, I don't even remember. There's a couple of Mana games at this point, though, that I'm very excited for. And this was the one that was originally released in Japan only, I believe, so that will be fun. May, probably the 2 games that people are most excited for are Marvel's Avengers. I'm not really into the Marvel's type of games. I think that, like, the Avengers are cool. I'd rather have Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, though. Just saying. You know, DC's better than Marvel. And The Last of Us Part 2. I'm excited about The Last of Us Part 2. I thought that the first Last of Us was an amazing game. I thought that it just had so many unique and great details, and they just really did a good job with it. But, again, I'm just not sure if I'll purchase it at launch. It sounds fun, it sounds cool, sounds interesting. Definitely going to have to see when it releases, though, how long it is. That's a big part of it for me, is how long is the game? Because if it's under like 20 hours, I really don't want to purchase it for $60. But it's The Last of Us. I'm sure it's going to be like 30 hours. Or I would assume it's going to be a bit longer. Maneater, we get to be a shark. I haven't heard much about Maneater. Fast and Furious Crossroads, no thank you. No thank you. And to just skim these ones really quickly, Boyfriend Dungeon, definitely gotta get that. No clue what it is, definitely have to get that. Chivalry 2, pretty interesting game. Dark Alliance, wait, hold on. We have to go back to May. Because it's not actually here. New Worlds. New Worlds is Amazon's new MMO that is supposed to be releasing in May, or the beta starts in May. New Worlds, Amazon. It is a new MMO from Amazon Studios that is releasing. Okay, it is releasing in May. 100,000% playing that. It looks really interesting. I've been fascinated by it. I am a huge MMO fan, as a lot of you may know. Currently, I'm playing. God damn it! I'm giving EA my money. I'm playing Star Wars: The Old Republic again. Please don't judge me. But that's not in May, and that is one of the games that I'm so excited for in 2020. Definitely one of the top games I'm excited for in 2020, honestly. Game Informer, go out of business already. You're not even giving us the good information. You lie about Resident Evil 3. You don't put one of the best games coming out in 2020 in the list. Damn it. Can you make Amazon orders in the MMO? Maybe you can. Watch them be like, you've got to buy Amazon Prime. I'm going to be like, shit. Gotta get Amazon Prime, you guys. Dark Alliance, we really don't know much about it. Wizards of the Coast had announced it at the Game Awards. I'm interested in it. Why is Death Stranding on this list? What? Are they broken? Why is Death Stranding on this list, guys? Death Stranding is releasing in 2020. Elden Ring. I am very excited to know more about Elden Ring. We know close to nothing about it because it's being released for PC. What's being released for PC? Death Stranding? But it says PlayStation. Oh, okay, I get it. Right. It said PlayStation 4, so I thought that it's because it was supposed to be releasing on these platforms. It's already out on PlayStation. Lame. I still have not played Death Stranding. I probably won't for a very long time. Elden Ring, again, I'm very excited to hear more about it. Very excited to know what they're doing with it. Ember, another cool game. That is Mark Kern's game. He is a very well-known person in the industry. I definitely will be playing that when it releases, most likely. That might not be a game that I live stream, but I definitely do want to give it some attention. Ghost of Tsushima sounds really fascinating. I'm a little skeptical. We haven't seen much of it. Interested. Godfall. This was announced at the Game Awards. It looks so cool. So does Gods and Monsters. They both seem really cool. Can't wait to see those. Half-Life. It's VR. Not very excited for it. Halo Infinite. I really love the Halo games, I have to say. I have always really loved the Halo games. I don't know if I'll pick it up when it launches, but it will definitely be a game that I want to know when it's going to launch, mainly because if it's going to launch during, like, the, of course, August, September, October stretch where tons of games release, I most likely won't buy it. But if it's like a month that doesn't have a lot of releases, I will definitely purchase it. But yeah, besides that, Minecraft Dungeons, I'm surprisingly interested in it. It looks interesting. Rust is coming to consoles, which is cool. I play Rust on PC, so I probably won't repurchase it. Phantasy Star Online 2, we don't really have any information on it, but that is supposed to be launching this year. Warcraft 3 Reforged, I'm interested. I'm not sure. When is that coming out? Have they announced that? Isn't that like January or something? February, March? Warcraft 3 Reforged. When is that coming out? Okay, so it is coming out in January, I thought so. I don't know if I'll purchase it in January when it launches. That may be a game I wait a little bit on. But definitely a game I am interested in. Yes, another Halo game. Halo 5 was not the best, but I have really enjoyed all of the other Halo games, so I'm definitely interested to see what they do with Halo. But besides that, those are some of the games that we know this year and that I wanted to point out. Well, next year, technically, in 2020. But yeah, that's all that I really had to discuss, you guys. I will stick around and chat for a few minutes before I end the live stream, but thank you for stopping by tonight. I do appreciate it. I do think that 2020 is going to be a good year for games, but I do think that 2021 is going to be even better. There are a lot of games that sound really fascinating in 2020, but I think that with the new launch of consoles, we do know the new Hellblade game, which sounds amazing. There's the Godfall game, sounds amazing. PlayStation 5. So I am curious to see what exactly releases in 2020 and what releases past that, because we also have like Elder Scrolls 6 that's on the list that's not here, but we know that that's probably going to be releasing on the next generation of consoles. There's a lot of games in 2021 that we don't know about, like when they will be releasing or if they will even release in 2021, but a lot of good games for 2020. I think 2020 is going to be a great year for games. I thought that 2019 was pretty good too, honestly. I really loved Resident Evil 2. I really love Jedi Fallen Order, which I will be putting up my review on soon. I've been replaying it. It's taken me a little bit for that. But yeah, just some really good games this year, and next year I am very excited to see what else will launch. How have you been? I've been good. I have been good, Kyoji. I hope that you have been good too. I was just about to end the live stream. Halo Reach and Halo 3 are my favorite Halo games. I really, hot take, really didn't like Halo 3. When you ask anyone, what's your favorite Halo game? What is your, top Halo game? Everyone always says 3. I didn't like 3. I think that 1 and 2 are my jam. I will take 1 and 2 all day long. Number 1 was amazing. Number 2 was great. I feel like after 3, I just couldn't get into Halo. 3 was okay. It definitely wasn't my top Halo game, though. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Halo. I am a bit skeptical. 5 was a pretty big disaster, in my opinion. Really didn't like 5. Really didn't like 4 either. But I am curious. You know, it's one of those franchises that I would be interested in going back to. If it was really good, like if they had a lot of depth to it, I would probably buy it, and I probably would play it. I'll be honest. I'm a fan of them, so you know, what can you do? I've been home for 2 weeks now, still in training, but not on a train yet. Well, at least you are home. A lot coming out this year. I'm gonna try to pick up what I know I will play and open immediately. Same here. With of course the channel growing, I do of course want to continue playing games. But I want to be careful with what I play and what I purchase, because I don't want to buy too many games and, you know, not be able to stream them and have too many that I'm playing. So I want to be careful with what I'm purchasing for the channel. I'm talking only Halo multiplayer, not the story. Yeah, I really only liked I don't know. I was never into the Halo multiplayer in general, but I really liked 2. Was it 2? I don't know if it was 2. I haven't played Halo multiplayer in so long. Maybe I should. I spent the whole stream just drawing and listening, so I'm sorry for not typing a lot. I followed you on Twitter earlier. I did. You drew, who was it? Sid Alpha, I believe his his like logo. That was really good. Halo 3 playing Rocket Race in that huge desert map was so much fun. I do think that Halo 3 had some charm to it. I don't know, I couldn't get into Halo 3. Maybe it was the multiplayer that got me. I'm not sure. I just wasn't a big fan of Halo 3 in general. Maybe that's a game I should go back and replay though, because maybe now I would enjoy it. But yeah, I'm going to finish up the stream. Thank you guys so much for stopping by tonight. I very much so appreciate it. Tomorrow night I will be live streaming for New Year's. If you guys are not already, please make sure to follow me on Twitter. Make sure to join our Discord, which I will, of course, link in the chat. If you are not already, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon. You can become a supporter for just $1 a month. It really does help the channel. And, of course, it helps me put more into the channel so I can buy all of these lovely, fantastic games that are all $60 each, which does get fairly expensive. But yes, thank you guys so much for stopping by tonight. I do very much so appreciate it, and have a great night, everyone.